Well, just speaking from where we came from with my son, he just was out at parties and they were available. And that's pretty much how he got started. It wasn't an injury, it wasn't anything else. It was just fun at a party, a lot of pills floating around. And he told me before he even realized he was addicted, he didn't realize what was going to happen, or, you know, the sequence of events that would take place.
So Casey had issues with alcohol, you know, at parties. He had a DUI, and then the pill started, which would be, I guess, really late 90s. Right?
Mm-hmm. High school.
High school, with pills. And so he did get help. He did an IOP, which is intensive outpatient treatment. Everything was working well for him. Had a job, girlfriend, you know, changed his style of dress. And then he began what we call a downward spiral. Lost his girlfriend, lost his job. All the things that kind of pile up and take away their hope. And then we talked to him and found out he had started using heroin. And he hadn't been using heroin very long. As a matter of fact,
brief.
He only died 4 bags of heroin. I've got kids we help today use 70 bags of heroin a day. And he died on 4 bags. And probably his reason, like so many of our kids, he had gone away to treatment. And he left treatment. And we were going to Walt Disney World. We told him he couldn't stay home. So he came with us. So for 2 weeks we had him back. You know, he was taking his younger cousins around, his brothers and sisters, going to the movies, doing all kinds of things. So we had him back. And driving home, driving straight through that night, Sunday night, you know, he was asking me what time we're going to get home. And I was like, does it really matter? When we get home, we get home. We pulled up about 11:20 at night. And he said he was going to meet his girlfriend because he had been gone for 2 weeks. And he actually went and bought heroin with his cousin and came home. And the coroner figures he did 2 bags of heroin. Then he came down, kissed his mom goodnight, played with the dog, and then went back to his room and did the other 2 bags. And then the next morning, I was working out of the house, and Maryann was home. It was summer, and she went to check on him, and that's when our life changed. She found him, you know, dead on his bedroom floor. Of course, you're not thinking that. You know, we didn't know what happened. So I tried to administer CPR, but then I quickly realized he was gone. And at that point, I didn't even know what he died from. It still wasn't registered.
Really, at the time, we didn't know where to turn or what to do or who to call, and I think that's what everyone else was feeling. You know, the same thing. Who do we call? The stigma is huge, so you know, you don't want to let certain people know, so you just kind of try to maneuver through.
Casey died on June 30th, 2008, and as Maryann said, friends of ours, friends of his, parents of friends of his started calling us, said, our son, our daughter has a problem, can you help us? And like most parents we meet today, we were pretty clueless. You know, I meet with parents now, and they start to say, oh, I should have done this, whatever. I said, look, go home tonight, go to your bookshelf, get your parenting book out, and open it up to this chapter. They look at me, because there is none. You know, if Johnny wins all county wrestling, everybody on the block knows. But if Janie has a drug or alcohol problem, we put our head down, we don't say anything. Mm-hmm. So it's happening all around you. You just don't see it until it hits.
I think we need to educate the parents as well, because I don't think they realize how young these kids are getting involved in that kind of stuff. So
12 or 13 on heroin, not on alcohol, pot, right on heroin. I remember the day in July when I was standing at my son's viewing, and we were supposed to be there from 2 to 7, I think, and at 1:30 we were in the parking lot. They said, you got to get in here, there's people in line. And 9 o'clock at night, I look over at Maryann. She was in her floral print dress. Her shoes were off at that point. She had never moved, never went to the bathroom, never gone to get a drink of water. And I kind of looked over at my son, and I guess in a naive kind of way, I thought, got to do something so that other parents aren't going to be standing where we are. And I say naive because, you know, when I give my talks, one of the things that goes in my pocket are these. You know, this isn't a deck of cards. These are just some of the funerals and services that I've been at. There's peace in our house, but it was a great sacrifice. We help people every day that there's no peace in their house. This disease takes no prisoners. It just wants to take everything. It wants to take your relationship. It wants to take your relationship with your children. It wants to take the brothers and sisters relationship from their addicts. And then once it takes your child, you know, their pain dies with them, but the pain that's left behind is not something. I tell people, you want to know me because of all I've learned. You don't want to be me because of what we went through.